There is a concept called as peak bone mass, which is very important in growing children. So what peak bone mass means is that it is the maximum amount of bone any individual can make. Alright. So let's say the maximum amount of bone you can make is X. So what is the duration when you can make this? This happens only when you are young. It happens only when you are between 11 to 12 years to maybe about 18 to 20 years. Now, for example, if I want to make the maximum amount of bone at my age, it is not possible. I have lost that thing. The maximum bone mass I could make was when I was young. Now, what happens? Why is it so important? It is important because nowadays we see a lot of children who are not very active, who are always very indoorsy, who are always on phones, games and things of that sort. They are not exposed to sunlight. So what happens is that instead of making your peak, the maximum amount of bone, which we thought is X, so what happens is that he doesn't make X amount of bone. He makes X minus 20%. So that is okay for some time because you're young and you'll go along and all that. But as you age, let's say you go to 40s, 45s, 50s, especially in the female gender, you lose bone. When we age, we lose bone, right? So what happens is that because we have not made enough bone, we are X minus 20, we lose another 20% of bone. So we are left with only about 60% of the original bone what we have. And this bone is not enough to protect us in our old age. Let's say we fall, it's very easy for us to actually break our bones. So this concept is called as the peak bone mass. So how do you make peak bone mass? You make peak bone mass by, one is that you have to be lucky to get good genes so that your bones are stronger. Second thing is that you have to have a very good diet. You have to have a lot of calcium, vitamin D, you need to have a lot of proteins in your diet, you have to have a very well balanced diet. You cannot be, eating what is this stuff called? Burgers and pizzas and fast food kind of thing. It doesn't. The other thing is physical activity. The more you play, the more you stress your bone, you make more bone about it. So sunlight, good diet, and a lot of physical activities. And of course, you should be lucky to have good genes. So these are 4 things which will make sure that you make peak bone mass.